What's going on, guys? Stefan here with you, S&E's Garage. In today's video, we're going to dig just a little bit deeper into the 2-liter NU engine in our new to us 2017 Hyundai Tucson. So if you watched our most recent video on this car, or our first video on this car, you'll know that we bought this with the presumption from the previous owner that it had a blown engine. Now, we did a little bit of digging, we did a little bit of diagnosis, we pulled some oil control valves, and we cleared the codes, revved it up, and we found no evidence of actual engine failure here. This engine is nice and quiet, it is not knocking, and it runs really good. So before I fully commit to, okay, this engine's good, let's pull the intake and put a knock sensor in it and do a couple of other things, there's a couple of things that I want to do just to make sure everything here is on the up and up before I put any money into it. So I did some digging in the memory banks, and I looked back at some previous emails from back when I was employed with Hyundai that I went back and forth with on my service writers and service managers about cars just like this. That I was either diagnosing or repairing. And it jogged my memory. I found some things that I realized, hey, maybe I should check that and make sure that that's okay with this engine. Now, this is, like I said, it's a 2-liter NU engine. It also shares architecture with the 1.8 liter that was in the earlier Elantras, I want to say 2012 and newer. But anyhow, they have an issue where some of these engines will completely wipe out the cylinder walls and they'll start burning oil, and they'll actually get something what is known as in the industry as piston slap, and the pistons will rattle around a little bit under certain conditions, and that could also cause that P1326 to set. Now, along with that, bad spark plugs could cause that code because of pre-ignition or detonation, carbon buildup. So if everything here looks good, what we're going to do, we're going to pull these plugs. We're going to go down there with a bore scope. We're going to take a good look at the cylinder walls. If I like what I see here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get some BG EPR. We're going to do that on this video. Dump it in the engine, run it for 20 minutes at 2,000 RPMs, dump the oil, pull the filter, and then we're going to cut the filter open with an oil filter cutter that I purchased from Amazon. When we get to that point in the video, I will show you, and I'll leave one in the video description below. And the reason you need to use a specialized oil filter cutter is because it will not create metal shavings from actually cutting the filter, and it'll be more accurate because there won't be metal in there from the filter. If there's metal in there, it's from inside of the engine, and that is what we are looking for to see if after we perform this engine flush, if you will, if there's any metal in that filter, because if there is, there's something going on in here. So getting access to these spark plugs on these engines is super easy. This is literally just held on with some rubber grommets. You're just gonna go ahead and release all 4 of them, like so. And then we're gonna go ahead and set that off to the side. And then we just have 4 ignition coils that are held in with 10mm nuts or bolts. And once our coils are out of the way, we're going to go ahead with a spark plug socket. We're going to break the spark plugs loose. After you break them loose, you can zip them out with a gun. And you just want to take a good look at them, look at the straps. These don't look like or at least number 1 doesn't look like it's burning any oil. And it honestly doesn't look like it's an original equipment. So I don't even think I need to replace these. Now, all 4 of our spark plugs actually look fantastic. Here's from cylinder number 4. Here's cylinder number 3. Number 2. And number 1. So this engine doesn't appear to be burning any crazy amounts of oil. These plugs would be very oil fouled if they were. So let me go ahead now. We're going to get our bore scope set up. Let's look down into these cylinders. All right, so right now we have number 1 and number 4 cylinders on bottom dead center. So we'll be able to see the whole cylinder wall. And we're gonna go ahead down into the combustion chamber here. If I can get my tool in there. And we're gonna look around. Now the top of that piston does look like it's got a little bit of carbon on it. It's nothing really crazy. And I do see some very minor scoring. But when these things score to the point where it's wiping out the cylinder wall, you know it. And this honestly does not look bad at all. I can still see a lot of the crosshatch there. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a picture in the video description in a moment, and I'll show you what one of these looks like when it's bad, because it literally it leaves grooves that you could feel and easily see with the naked eye. So I like what I see in number 1 there. Number 1 looks nice. Let's take a look in number 4. And I'm really not seeing anything majorly alarming here. So off camera, we went ahead and did a couple of things on this car here. We went ahead and we dumped some of this BG EPR engine performance restorer in the engine. We warmed the engine up, and then we ran it for about 20 minutes at 2,000 or so RPMs. Let that stuff really circulate through the engine, clean out all that gunk. And what we have over here is the oil filter. And we have here an oil filter cutter. I'm gonna leave one of these in the video description below. So let's go ahead, let's cut this oil filter open, and let's check it out. Let's see what kind of debris is in here. And if everything looks good, which I'm hoping it's going to, just considering how nicely this thing sounds, I don't think we're gonna have to touch this engine, at least not internally. I might put a NOx sensor in this thing just to be safe. But if we can save $2,500, $3,000 on putting an engine in this, number 1, I can ask less for the car. I don't have to make as much on it, so it'll be an easier sell. And number 2, I can justify spending a couple $100s on a hood or something like that just to make this thing look that much nicer. So let's go ahead. Number 1, we just put a TV up on the wall. We're in the middle of changing some things up here at S&E's garage. But let's cut this oil filter open right here. Let's open it up, cut the pleats open, and just take a nice look at it and see how things look. So this guy here is kind of like it looks like a can opener more than anything else. But you more or less, you open this up until the filter fits here on the rollers, and then you spin it. And you slowly tighten this while you're spinning it to go ahead and slowly cut into the filter. And what's great about this is it's not going to add any metal into the filter and compromise the results here that we're trying to see. So let's just go ahead. We're gonna start spinning. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pop this element out. A little return spring in here, we're gonna pop it out. And we're gonna take a look at the oil that is in this. Let's come over here and very slowly dump it and just see if we see any metal in here. And I do not. Let's get a flashlight really quick. There's some debris in there, but it's a filter. It's supposed to be capturing, you know, debris. That's its job. And a lot of this might have been dislodged from when we did that engine performance restore kit from BG, but the canister looks pretty good so far. So let's go ahead and start looking in the pleats of this filter here. Let me see if I can get this to separate somehow, and then we'll look in the filter a little bit better in the media. So we've gone ahead and pulled some of these cleats out, and we're just opening them up and we're taking a look, and there is no metal in this. There's no bearing material. There's nothing. And even if we look in here, you know, and try to pull these apart, yes, like I said, there's debris in here, you know, some gunk, but there is no copper, there's no tin. I don't see any aluminum. This is a very good sign, and again, I think this solidifies the fact that we do not have to put an engine in this car. I am fairly confident, like very confident, that we can let this thing ride the way it is. So let's work on cosmetics. So now that we know we're gonna let this engine ride, we know that it's healthy, we know that the cylinder walls are not scored, we know that there was no metal in the oil, and we know how nicely it sounds, we can go ahead, we're good here. This engine is fine, it's gonna stay in the car. The next owner is gonna get plenty of life out of this thing for the price that they're gonna pay, and I think this will last somebody a good couple of years before they need to worry about it. So we're gonna go ahead and start making it look better. Now, our hood on this car is very, very beat. So we called up our friends over at Phoenix Auto Salvage, and they just happened to have a black 2017 hood in very nice shape, all ready for us to go. It is probably gonna need a little bit of a buffing here. We can see some scratches, but I cannot feel them with the finger. So it passes the finger test. This thing is gonna clean up very nicely. I already have some black touch-up paint from one of my other cars. We can touch some of these little nicks up. But there's no rust on it, and I think it's gonna look 10,000 times better with this hood on it. And this hood is complete. It comes with all of the weather stripping. The emissions tag matches. It's got a 2-liter in it. At least the car it came out of did. So everything here is good. We are good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and unbolt the hood. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 14mm bolts. And then we just have to take the hinges here off of this hood. When they removed it with the hinges down here. So we're not gonna do that. We're gonna leave these hinges in the car. But let's get this hood out of here and let's get this shiny, not new, but this shiny, good used hood on it. So you guys tell me, what do you think? I haven't even wiped it off yet. Does this new hood make this thing look better? I think this looks 10 times better than having all of this nasty rust on the hood, and I think that's gonna add value to this car. Now, the hood gap isn't perfect. I still have to adjust it a little bit. It's a little bit tight over here. I could probably shift the hood over with the hinges just a little bit here. You'll see it's a little bit looser here, but I don't really know how worried I'm gonna be about that. Again, this is a 211,000 mile car. We're gonna clean this hood up, buff out these scratches, and then let's revisit this and check it out when we're done. This hood is almost definitely going to need to be hit with a wheel to clean up perfectly. But a lot of the scratches that we saw before are actually a lot less than they were. Just ignore it. It kind of looks like crap right now because they didn't really do a good job wiping all the compound off. My quick detailer, brand new, is on. It decided it didn't want to spray. So obviously it didn't want me to finish this tonight. So we're gonna end this here, but I'm glad that we did put this hood on it. Just getting rid of all that rust on the front of this thing makes it look that much better and kind of fits the rest of the car. Because this whole body minus this one spot back here on the back door is actually in really nice shape. So we're in a good spot here. We know the car's got a good engine. We checked everything. So now we can just go ahead, finish cleaning her up, do the back brakes, and the interior on this thing is already pretty damn clean. I don't really think I have to do too much in here other than maybe a quick vacuum to get rid of all the footprints that I dragged in, and then maybe clean the back up. This back here is a little bit dirty, but she's in good shape, and I think somebody's gonna get a really nice car out of this deal. So if this video interested you, please like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned, more content coming with this. We're probably gonna do a video on the brake job, show you guys how to do it. And then we're gonna go ahead. I'm probably gonna register this one and drive it for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. Make sure it's good. Maybe I'll do a video on the knock sensor because I am gonna put a knock sensor in it just to cross my T's and dot my I's. But stay tuned, more content coming on the car. If this interested you, please like, share, subscribe. Hopefully the next time I record, this ductwork is up on the wall and warming it up in here because I'm absolutely freezing right now. We'll see you next time.